Speaking of liabilities, 4 drug companies reached a last-minute settlement to avoid the nation's first federal trial over the opioid crisis. At the moment, Walgreens is the only defendant that did not reach that deal. Meg Tirrell's in Cleveland covering all this. Good morning, Meg.
Good morning, Carl. Well, the jury had been selected. The courtroom is packed, and in less than 10 minutes, this trial here in Cleveland, it's over. These 4 defendants reached a settlement with just these 2 counties in Ohio late last night, midnight 1 a.m. The judge just saying in the courtroom behind us. That's according to our producer, Harriet Taylor, who was in there. There was Walgreens, who was the 5th defendant, hadn't reached a settlement. However, they are being severed from this trial, and they're going to move on to what comes next here. No trial today. This is just a settlement with these 2 counties. It's not a broader settlement in the thousands of opioid cases that have been brought against industry, seeking to hold them accountable for the opioid epidemic. They have been consolidated into a federal multi-district litigation, which is centered here in Cleveland. We are hearing that there potentially may be news coming later today from state attorneys general, which could speak to a potential broader settlement. However, the numbers we're seeing this morning just pertain to these 2 counties. The Washington Post reporting it's about $260 million, $250 million in cash from the 3 big distributors, McKesson, AmerisourceBergen, and Cardinal Health. About $20 million in cash from Teva, plus another $25 million, the Washington Post reports, in anti-addiction medications they will contribute here. We are waiting to see the exact details that we'll get, and we'll bring them to you. No trial happening here today. There are a lot lined up potentially later. No dates yet set for what we'll see the next federal case here in this multi-district litigation, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, Meg, it's David. A couple of quick questions. So Walgreens doesn't settle, but they don't have to go to court as of now as the only defendant in this current litigation, correct?
That's right, David. Walgreens, of course, is a pharmacy, and they were sort of considered the most ancillary defendant here to the county's municipalities' cases. The case is really centered around drug companies and then distributors. So having Walgreens as the sole defendant just didn't seem to make sense here.
I see. And then, again, the global settlement that we've sort of heard might be close, as much as $48 billion, including a lot more companies than just the ones we're looking at. You're hearing that still remains a possibility?
We don't know yet what we're going to hear from the state attorneys general later today. We are expecting to hear something. We had heard last week that settlement from the 3 distributors, as well as Teva, plus Johnson & Johnson, was totaling up to $48 billion. That included $22 billion in cash from the distributors and J&J contributing $4 billion, and Teva contributing all drugs and services worth about $29 billion. But analysts I spoke to said they were a little iffy on the valuation of those drugs and services from Teva. So we'll have to see what we hear from the states later today.